Helen Brahms here, coming live from Sun City in Arizona. Yes, I'm still in my PJs. I'm about to go have a shower, get dressed and all that good stuff, and then off for a walk with Zeph. But thought I would pop in here really quick because it's Winning Wednesday. Hope you're having a super fantastic sparkling start to Winning Wednesday. What wins have you had this week? What stuff can we celebrate? I just finished doing my 30-minute writing on my story. And part of our story. And for some reason, I chose to write about the very first cruise we ever took back in September 2009. It was a celebration cruise for us. So this is in alignment with the question that we have for you today about winning, is to write about a winning moment in your life that had an impact on things to come. And I don't even know what made me write about this. It's just that I opened up the pad and started writing about our very first cruise that we took. It was on Norwegian Sky. It was Inside Passage to Alaska. It was our very first cruise. Hence the reason, for those of you that do know my story, the very first cruise I took by myself after Brad had passed, the May after he passed, was an Alaskan cruise. And that to me was sort of like bringing everything full circle. This was actually a free cruise for us. I had completed all of Norwegian's online training. They came out with this brand new training program, and the final piece of it was a PhD at sea, and that was actually going on their ships and experiencing the Norwegian way of cruising. And it was a great cruise, I have to tell you. Mind you, I didn't have anything to compare it with at the time. But we had a blast. For us, not only was it a celebration of the fact that I had completed all of their online training, there is a story about how we got on that particular cruise too, but it was also celebrating our 10th wedding anniversary, which had occurred the December of 2008. But Brad was in the middle of chemo treatments. We didn't do anything special for it. In fact, we hadn't even planned any. We didn't even know what we were going to do for our 10th wedding anniversary. We just ended up having a quiet night at home. Brad in recovery from chemo, and actually he was off chemo at that time he did have chemo. No, we did have to go in that week. It was the week between Christmas and New Year, and do all the blood work and everything else that he normally had to do, and then he had chemo after the New Year. So it was our 10th wedding anniversary celebration. 9 months late, but it's okay. You celebrate when you can. And we're also celebrating the fact that Brad at that point was cancer-free and was off all treatments, had completed all of his chemo and everything else. So it was a big celebration cruise for us. And the fact it was our very first cruise was really exciting. We went in and out of Seattle. We did the Inside Passage. We went to Ketchikan, Juneau, Skagway, and Prince Rupert in British Columbia. Actually, we didn't get off the ship in British Columbia because it was raining that day. The weather was kind of iffy because we were right at the end of the Alaskan cruising season. We were in September. I think there was one more cruise that ship was doing that week that we got off. And so we were like on the second to last cruise of the season for Norwegian Sky. So we were right at the very end there, and the weather was a little iffy, but we had a blast. It rained most days. We had one day when we were actually out in the Gulf, the Alaskan Gulf there, where it was pretty rough. But I had a blast. It was so much fun. And we got to know some of the senior staff very well, because there was 80, there was a group of 80 of us that were on board the ship as part of our PhD at sea, and we could bring one person with us. So about 40, but one of the requirements was that you had to be we had training sessions while we're on board, but it was pretty cool. The guys were good. We got to meet some of the senior staff of the crew. We got to meet the captain, the chief engineer, the hotel, the director of hotel operations. She was a blast. Who else was there? The executive chef. So we got to meet some really cool people when we were on this cruise that came in and talked to us at various times during our training sessions. And we actually had a panel up there one time. We had the chief engineer, we had the cruise director, we had the director of hotel operations, and the executive chef up there with a Q&A panel. And Brad and I are front and center. We were like sitting like maybe, I think there was like about 10 feet between us and where they were sitting. And we were in the theatre, which was all theatre seating where you look down onto the stage. And it was a pretty cool room. I absolutely love the fact that we could go in there every now and again and just sit down and learn more about the ships and just learn more about the cruise line. And I remember sitting there on that one day doing the Q&A. And at that time, I was working for Marriott as well. So we had our travel business at the same time I was working for Marriott. So there was a little bit of a crossover there for about 18 months, but that's okay. And we're sitting there, and they asked if we had any questions. I said, yes, I have a question. They go, what's that? I said, this is my very first cruise. And they were like shocked. Here I was, a travel agent at the time, working towards becoming a travel professional. I was a travel agent at the time, and I was on my very first cruise. And they go, this is your very first cruise? I said, yeah. And I said, I come from the hotel industry. And I said, but I'm curious. They said, why is that? And they said, what's that? I said, well, I was told that one of the cool parts about being on a cruise is that you go back to your room at night and there's these towel animals on your bed. And they go, yeah. I said, I haven't seen any. We were about halfway through the cruise. I hadn't seen any towel animals. And so the hotel director said, what room are you in? So I told her what cabin. We were in 912. Cabin number 912. We were on a balcony at the front of the ship. It was pretty cool. Except we had smokers either side of us, which was kind of annoying because they'd go out on the balcony to smoke. And if we were in the cabin and had our door open, enjoying like our day at sea or something like that, we got all the smoke drifting into our cabin, which I hated. So that was one of the quirks that I had about the cruise, but it was okay. We did get to spend time outside on our balcony, which was nice. And so the evening we got back to our cabin, and Brad for some reason walked through the door first. He normally opened the door and let me go through first, but for some reason he went through first. He goes, and of course, him being 6'5", he was a big guy, being 6'5", and me being all 6'4" and a bit, came up behind him. I couldn't see into the room. He basically blocked my view into the room, and he goes, and I go, what's He goes, he says, we've had an invasion. I'm like, what do you mean? And he finally moved out of the way. There were towel animals all over our cabin. We had a monkey hanging off the clip hangers off the curtain, the drapes that went over the door out to the thing. There was an alligator across the bottom of the bed. There was swans, and we've got photo. We took photo. Brad could pull his camera out. We didn't touch anything. I just started laughing. We had an invasion. We had a zoo. We had a towel zoo in our room. There were all sorts of birds and animals. I think there was like about 8 or 9 of them or something. I mean, they had really outdone themselves on the towel animals. We just cracked up laughing. Brad pulled his camera out and he took pictures of all of them from different angles. And so I have a bunch of photographs that he took that night, just walking in. But the funniest one was the monkey that was hanging off the clothes hanger on the curtains. I thought that was really cute. But there was an alligator, there was the swans, there was what else was there? An elephant. I'm trying to think what else there was. Yeah, there was a few. We definitely had a towel animal invasion. We had a zoo in our cabin. It was awesome. But that trip was really cool. We got to meet some great people who we are still friends with today. I have my cruise planner sons, and they only call us our cruise planner mum and dad because we introduced them to the Cruise Planners franchise, and they ended up joining. And but we got to meet some amazing people on that cruise. Oh, and one of the other things we got to do while we were on that cruise is they asked for volunteers to be part of a promotional piece that they were doing. And what we had to do is that we had to we signed up to do different areas of the ship, and we'll go meet them there. And in mine only took like about 10 minutes. By the time they got set up, we did a video, and we were in port in, where were we in port? It might have been, was it Ketchikan or Juneau? We were in one of the ports at the time, and we're out there up on the pool level, and I was over by the railing, and I had my NCLU, which is Norwegian Cruise Line University sweatshirt on. It was actually a hoodie. I love that hoodie. I don't know where I put it though. I think it might be in a suitcase in storage, but it's one of my favorite hoodies. And I was sitting there, and we just basically they gave us a topic to talk about on the cruise, and I just talked about taking Norwegian Cruise Line and how amazing it was. This is my first cruise. I had nothing to compare it to. I had done ship tours when we were at franchise training, where we've been on Carnival Triumph. What was the celebrity one we were on? There was another ship that we were on, and then there was the Holland America Eurodam. I can't remember the one in between. And we got to tour this. So we had the experience of being on board a cruise ship to tour it, as well as we got to see some of the different rooms, like inside cabin, outside ocean view, balcony. We got to see some of the suites on some of these ships. We got to have lunch on the ships. So we had, that type of an experience. We had never actually sailed on a cruise ship. So this was a very new experience for us. And we just talked about how wonderful it was, and some of the things that we were able to do and see and that sort of thing. And it was all of, I think it was like a 30 to 60 seconds is all we had to talk about or something like that. And so they then did this compilation of all the videos, and there was 2 videos, and they told you, and they gave us a list of the time slots and where so you could fast forward through the video to get to the piece where you were. And it's still out there on YouTube somewhere, probably on Norwegian Cruise Lines thing. I'd have to go back and have a look and find that little clip. But it was a lot of fun doing that. And I did mine in 2 takes. And they said, this is what we want you to talk about. I went, okay. And so I did it completely off the cuff and did it in 2 takes, because the first time was sort of like a practice run. And then they said, okay, now we're going to go and do it live. So they actually had the video camera there, it was all mic'd up and everything, and it was a lot of fun. So we got to do these promotional videos while we were on board and got to sign up for them and that sort of thing. So and Brad's sitting there taking pictures of me doing all of this. And but it was a great cruise. It was our very first time we got to see an amazing part of Alaska, only a very small portion. We just got to see the thumb. If you don't know what the thumb is, if you take your right hand and you turn it like this, this is Alaska. These are down to the Aleutian Islands, and then this is your inside passage. Anchorage is about here on the first knuckle, and Fairbanks is up about here. So it's really awkward to do that. But yeah, so if you take your right hand and look at it, and you can see the size of Alaska, and the inside passage, you only do the thumb. You do the thumb. And then you've got the ones that will come out of Seattle, up the inside passage, across here to Seaward, where you then get on the train or the buses and get taken into Anchorage. So that's how much you actually see of Alaska on a cruise. You've still got this whole portion of the fist of your hand, plus the peninsula that goes down to the Aleutian Islands. So just another little tidbit for you. So anyway, that's what I got to write about for 30 minutes today, and I didn't even cover half of it. I covered how we got on the cruise and about our very, very short excursion that we did. So that was all I got to write about in 30 minutes. So tomorrow I'll probably finish the rest, or maybe I'll do it today if I get time. But anyway, I'm out of here. Got to go rouse a pup, get ready, go for our walk and everything else, and come back. And mailbox power on to wake up call number 498 today. I'm super excited because Friday we're having wake up call 500 for our mailbox power, and they are doing this big to-do about it. So it's going to be amazing. I don't know what they've got planned, but I know it'll be amazing because there's type of people out there doing giveaways. And that's about all I know. All I know is they have an agenda for Friday. It's call number 500. So for 500, Monday through Fridays, we have been meeting consistently every weekday, except holidays. There's holidays that we decided, nope, not doing them. But 500 consecutive calls on business days. I mean, that's just amazing. And, we all get in there, we learn together. We share stuff, we share wins, we share learning tips, training tips, all sorts of really cool stuff. And so the fact that we're getting to call 500 on Friday is like I can't sleep. I'm excited. I got 2 sleeps to go. 2 sleeps to go. Today's call number 498 for Mailbox Power for their wake-up calls, and call number 500 will be Friday. That's going to be awesome and amazing, and can't wait. But anyway, I'm out of here. I got to go get today done because I still got a day on chat to do. But go out, have a super fantastic, sparkling, winning Wednesday. Remember to celebrate your wins and spend about 30 minutes. If you can, find 15 to 20 to 30 minutes. 30 minutes would be ideal. Where you just sit down and write about a win that you have had in your life, somewhere in your life that has had an impact on things to come. Okay, so go out, have a super fantastic, sparkling day, and we'll catch you guys later on this evening. Hey, konera.